Commander Rena stood on the bridge of the starship Valor, her hands resting lightly on the control panel. The stars outside stretched in endless black, punctuated by distant suns. The human fleet had been exploring this part of space for months, scanning star systems that no one had mapped before. Life on these missions was long and quiet, with routine checks, maintenance, and careful observation. Yet today felt different. The ship's sensors beeped softly, drawing Rena's attention. Lieutenant Caro, her communications officer, leaned forward with wide eyes. "Commander, I am picking up a signal," Caro said. "It is faint, but it is not random. There is a pattern." Rena moved closer, examining the readings. The energy signature was unusual. It came from a planet that was not on any charts, located at the edge of the sector humans had explored. It did not resemble any known communication. There was no call for help, no distress beacon. Yet, the signal pulsed with urgency, a rhythm that seemed almost alive. "Show me the planet," Rena said. The main screen lit up with an image of a world bathed in soft green and blue light. The planet had wide oceans and thick forests, with mountains that gleamed as if covered in crystal. There were no signs of space stations or colonies. It was untouched but somehow alive. "It is beautiful," said Engineer Mara quietly. "It looks peaceful." Rena shook her head. "Peaceful or not, something sent this signal. Something wants attention. We don't know what or why, but we cannot ignore it." The crew prepared the ship for a closer approach. Sensors and scanners were calibrated. Small landing pods were checked and fueled. Every member of the crew knew that landing on an unknown planet carried risk. They could find nothing, or they could find something dangerous. Still, Rena believed humanity had a duty to investigate. As the Valor descended into the planet's atmosphere, the view shifted. Forests stretched across vast plains, rivers shimmered like flowing glass, and mountains glowed faintly in the sunlight. The world seemed untouched, almost magical. Birds or creatures of some kind flew above the trees, though they looked different from anything humans had seen. "Commander, we are picking up structures," Caro said. "They appear artificial. Someone lived here, or maybe still lives here." Rena's eyes narrowed. "Show me." The screen displayed ruined cities hidden among the forests. Towers of metal and stone had collapsed. Streets were cracked and empty. The signs of life were gone, but traces remained. Equipment, vehicles, and other technology were scattered across the landscape. Some buildings looked scorched, as if attacked. Mara frowned. "This doesn't look like a natural disaster. It looks like conflict." Rena nodded slowly. "Then, our mission is clear. We will find out what happened here and help if we can. Humanity may not have been called, but we are here. That is enough to start." The landing pods carried the team safely to the planet's surface. The air was breathable, though heavy with unfamiliar scents. The humans wore light exploration suits, cameras, and scanners. As they walked among the ruins, every step revealed new mysteries. They found abandoned vehicles with strange markings, broken machines that hummed faintly, small tools that hinted at intelligent work. Every object told a story of life, of people who had lived, built, and perhaps fought. "This civilization was advanced," Caro said quietly. "They had machines we cannot fully understand. And now, they are gone." Rena felt a weight in her chest. The signal that drew them here had not been a call for help, but the world itself seemed to ask for someone to see it, someone to act. Humans had come. The responsibility was theirs. As they explored further, the team found signs of struggle, walls torn apart, scorch marks on the ground, and footprints that did not match anything alive now. Rena's heart raced with both fear and determination. Whoever or whatever had attacked this world was still out there, somewhere in the darkness of space. She turned to her team. "We must be careful." We are not here to fight blindly. We are here to understand and protect. Humanity may not have been called, but we have come, and we will make a difference. The sun began to set over the shattered city, casting long shadows across the ruins. The humans continued their careful exploration, scanning every structure, documenting every clue. Unknown creatures watched from the forests, hiding but curious. The wind carried whispers of a story left unfinished, waiting for someone brave enough to finish it. For the first time on this mission, Rena felt the thrill of true adventure. She knew that danger awaited, but she also knew that humans had something special: ingenuity, courage, and hope. And tonight, on this silent, broken world, humanity had arrived. The signal had not called for them, yet humans were here. And that presence alone might change the course of everything. The humans moved carefully through the shattered streets of the abandoned city. Commander Rena led the team, her eyes scanning every corner. Trees had grown between the ruins, and vines twisted around broken buildings. The silence was strange. No voices, no machines, no signs of life. Only the sound of their boots on cracked pavement filled the air. Lieutenant Caro held his scanner tightly. "Commander, I am detecting faint energy traces," he said. "They are scattered across the city, but most are weak. It seems the source is underground." Rena nodded. "Good. We will follow the trail. Stay alert. This world may be quiet, but it is not safe." They entered a large building, its walls scorched black. The entrance led to a wide hall, its ceiling half collapsed. Symbols covered the walls, glowing faintly in colors humans had never seen before. Mara examined them closely. "These markings are some kind of writing," she said. "It is not our language, but it seems important. Whoever lived here had knowledge and skill." As they moved further, the energy traces became stronger. The floor opened into a hidden staircase, leading deep into the planet. The humans descended, their lights cutting through the darkness. The air was cooler underground, and the walls shimmered with a strange natural energy. At the bottom, they found a vast chamber. Machines hummed faintly, powered by energy that humans could barely understand. Crashed equipment lay scattered across the floor. Signs of struggle were everywhere. Broken screens, damaged devices, and scorch marks suggested a fight had taken place. Rena surveyed the scene. "They were attacked," she said. "But by whom and why?" Mara knelt to examine a small device. "This seems like a communication tool. It may have been sending the signal we detected. Someone wanted help, but the call never reached anyone else." The team moved deeper into the underground complex. The passageways were narrow, lined with more machines and storage rooms filled with supplies. Every step revealed the story of a civilization that had been advanced, yet vulnerable. Suddenly, Caro's scanner beeped loudly. "Life signs detected, Commander. Small, faint. They are inside this chamber." Rena motioned for the team to stay quiet. They approached slowly, weapons lowered but ready. In the center of the chamber, they saw movement. Small creatures, no taller than a human child, with glowing skin and large eyes, were hiding behind the machines. They looked fragile and frightened. Rena stepped forward. "We are not here to hurt you," she said gently. "We came to help." The creatures froze, their large eyes blinking rapidly. One of them, braver than the others, stepped forward. Its voice was soft, but clear. "Humans?" it asked. Rena nodded. "Yes, we came because something happened here. We want to help you." The creature lowered its head in relief. "You are the first to come. No one else came. We tried to call, but it was too late." Rena gestured to her team. "We will protect you. Tell us what happened." The creature, which introduced itself as Vara, explained that their people, the Viren, had lived peacefully for generations. They mined energy crystals from deep within the planet, which powered their cities and technology. But a violent alien species, the Kryn, had attacked suddenly. The Varen had no weapons to defend themselves. Many were forced to flee underground while the Kryn destroyed their cities. Mara looked at Rena. "Commander, they are intelligent. They need our help, and they cannot defend themselves alone." Rena nodded. "Then we will stay. Humanity may not have been called, but we are here now. We will make a difference." The humans began to organize the underground shelters. Engineers repaired damaged machines. Caro helped the Varen understand human scanning tools. Rena spoke with Vara and other Varen leaders, learning about their society, their strengths, and their weaknesses. Night fell outside, though underground the humans and Varen worked tirelessly. Lights from repaired machines illuminated the chamber. For the first time, the Varen looked hopeful. The humans' presence gave them courage. Rena paused to watch her team. They moved with determination and care, sharing skills and knowledge with the Varen. Every task, from fixing equipment to mapping the tunnels, showed the value of human ingenuity and teamwork. Vera approached Rena quietly. "You did not come because we called," it said softly. "Yet you came anyway. That is unexpected," Rena smiled. "We come when we see someone in need. It is what humans do. Even if no one asks, we will act. That is how we survive and how we protect others." As the team finished securing the shelter, the sounds of the planet above seemed less empty. The forests and rivers still held their quiet beauty, but now life stirred beneath the surface. Humans and Varen worked side by side, preparing for the challenges ahead. Rena knew the Kryn would return. The planet might not stay safe forever. But for now, humanity had arrived. The silent world was no longer alone, and the story of courage and unity had just begun. The humans spent the first hours underground, helping the Varen organize their shelters. Machines that once lay broken now hummed softly as energy flowed through repaired circuits. Vara guided Rena and her team through the tunnels, showing them hidden rooms filled with supplies, water purification systems, and small areas where the Varen slept. Despite the ruins above, life continued below. Lieutenant Caro monitored the energy readings from the upper city ruins. "Commander, there is movement on the surface," he said. "Small groups, fast and organized. It could be scouts, but I'm not certain." Rena frowned. "Keep scanning. We cannot take chances. We are here to protect, but we also need to understand what we face." The Varen moved with cautious curiosity, watching the humans as they repaired devices and set up monitoring systems. Their glowing skin reflected the dim lights of the underground chambers, and their large eyes expressed both fear and hope. Rena noticed that even though they had lost much, they still carried dignity and intelligence. Vara led Rena to a hidden observation point. From there, humans could see the forested plains stretching into the horizon. Shadows moved between the trees, figures that did not belong to the planet. The Kryn had arrived in force. Sleek, dark ships hovered silently above, while smaller groups of ground forces advanced slowly, sweeping the abandoned cities. "They are searching," Vera whispered. "They want everything the Varen have. We have no weapons to stop them." Rena nodded. "Then we give you weapons. We give you strategy. We give you hope." The humans worked quickly. Engineers converted Varen energy crystals into defensive devices. Rena trained small groups of Varen in basic tactics: how to use cover, how to coordinate in teams, how to set up alarms. The humans were careful to explain, showing patience and leadership. Slowly, the Varen began to feel capable. "Commander," Caro said, "they are learning fast. If we continue, they can hold their own in small skirmishes. But if the Kryn attack fully, it will be dangerous." Rena looked toward the dimly lit city above. Then we must prepare for both defense and distraction. Humans and Varen together can make a difference. Even if we are outnumbered, Clever, strategy can level the field. The first contact occurred at dawn. A group of Kryn scouts moved toward one of the ruined towers. Rena and her team watched from a distance. Using mirrors, sensors, and small traps, they prepared the area. When the Kryn approached the tower, a trap triggered, sending alarms and flashing lights. The scouts hesitated, confused by the sudden activity. Vara whispered to the humans. "They are clever, but they are afraid." Rena nodded. "We use that fear wisely. They do not know who they face. We will make them uncertain." A small skirmish broke out. The Varen, guided by humans, used barricades and simple weapons enhanced by human technology. The Kryn underestimated the defenders. Quick thinking by Karo and Mara disrupted the enemy formation. Energy blasts were deflected by improvised shields, and the Kryn retreated after suffering minor losses. Rena's heart raced as she watched the scene unfold. This was not a victory yet, but it was the first proof that the Varen could fight when guided properly. Humanity's presence had changed everything. After the skirmish, the Varen celebrated quietly in their underground shelters. Their courage had returned, and with it, a spark of hope. Vara approached Rena. "You have shown us what humans are," it said. "You fight not just for yourselves, but for others. We did not ask for help, yet you came. We did not believe anyone would come." Rena placed a hand on her sidearm, which hung unused. "We fight because it is the right thing. You are not alone. Humans act when others hesitate. That is who we are." The Kryn would not stop. Rena knew this. The main force would arrive soon, and the humans would need every advantage. She began planning defensive lines across the forest and city ruins, incorporating both human strategy and Varen knowledge of the land. Mara and Karo worked on communication systems, allowing humans and Varen to coordinate across the tunnels and surface. They also prepared the energy-based devices to be portable, so small Varen teams could use them in hit-and-run tactics. Night fell again, and the underground shelters glowed with life. Humans and Varen shared stories, exchanged knowledge, and prepared quietly for the next day. Despite the fear of the unknown, Rena felt pride in her team. Humanity had brought more than tools. It had brought courage, creativity, and the belief that even in darkness, help could arrive. Rena looked at Vara and the other Varen. "We may not have been called, but we came, and we will not leave until this world is safe. Together, we can face anything." The Varen watched the humans with respect and hope. In that moment, a new bond was formed. Humanity had arrived not as conquerors, but as protectors. The Kryn did not yet know the power of unity, courage, and human determination. Tomorrow, the battle would escalate. But tonight, humans and Varen stood together. The silent world had found its guardians, and the story of hope, strategy, and cooperation had begun. The morning light spilled across the broken city, highlighting ruins that once teemed with life. Commander Rena stood at the top of a hill overlooking the area, her eyes scanning every building and forest edge. The Kryn had sent scouts the day before, but they had underestimated the humans and the Varen. Rena knew the main attack would come soon, and preparation was key. "We cannot fight blindly," she said to her team. "We need strategy, technology, and teamwork. The Varen can help, but they need guidance. We will turn their fear into strength." Mara and Karo moved quickly, coordinating repairs and enhancements to the Varen devices. Energy crystals were transformed into shields and portable defensive tools. Simple traps were installed along likely paths of enemy movement. Humans and Varen worked side by side, exchanging ideas and learning from each other. Vera approached Rena, watching the human activity with admiration. "You do not just repair things. You teach. You show us how to act," it said. Rena smiled. "Courage is important, but knowledge makes it stronger. If we teach you how to protect yourselves, you will survive." The Varen were quick learners. Though they had never handled weapons or tactics before, they adapted to human guidance with surprising skill. Rena divided the survivors into small teams, each responsible for guarding a section of the city or managing sensors and alarms. Humans trained them in coordination, teaching signals, hand signs, and how to stay silent when necessary. Meanwhile, the humans explored more of the planet to find additional resources. In the forest, they discovered minerals that could be used to create temporary energy barriers. They mapped out narrow passes and choke points where the Kryn would be most vulnerable. Every discovery, every improvised defense increased their chances of survival. As they worked, a small team of Varen approached. "Commander, we found a group of young Varen hiding near the river," said Vera. "They are frightened and alone. They need guidance." Rena nodded. "Bring them here. We will help them. Fear cannot control us when we have a plan and each other." The humans welcomed the frightened Varen, calming them and showing them how to participate in the defense efforts. Slowly, the Varen gained confidence, learning that they could survive and even fight when they acted together with humans. Rena called her team together in the evening. "Tomorrow, the Kryn will test our strength. We are outnumbered, but that is not a disadvantage if we use strategy. We will set traps, coordinate attacks, and protect the Varen. Human ingenuity is our greatest weapon. Use it wisely." The night was filled with activity. Humans and Varen moved silently through tunnels, forests, and ruins, placing devices, testing sensors, and practicing maneuvers. The Varen began to understand the importance of communication and timing. Simple drills became routines. Rena noticed, their fear slowly turning into determination. Late in the night, Caro spoke to Rena. "Commander, I am monitoring Kryn movement beyond the forest. They are scouting in larger numbers than yesterday. They are learning too, but our preparations may give us the upper hand." Rena nodded. "That is why humans came. Not to conquer, not to fight for glory, but to act when others hesitate. We teach, we protect, and we adapt. That is what they cannot expect." The humans also worked on a plan to confuse the Kryn. Using decoys and holographic signals, they would make it appear that humans and Varen forces were larger than they were. Small controlled explosions and energy flashes would draw the Kryn into traps while the Varen defended key positions. Every detail was considered carefully. Vera watched the preparations, awe in its eyes. "We never thought we could fight back. You show us that hope is stronger than fear. Even without a call for help, you came, and that changes everything." Rena placed a reassuring hand on Vara's shoulder. "We act because it is right. Courage without action is meaningless. Now, together, we will show them that they cannot destroy this world easily." As the first stars appeared in the sky, the humans and Varen paused to take stock. The underground shelters were fortified, traps were in place, energy devices were ready, and the teams were prepared. The city, once quiet and abandoned, now held life, organization, and determination. Rena looked at her team. "Tomorrow, we face the Kryn. But remember, this is not just about fighting. It is about protecting those who cannot defend themselves, using intelligence, courage, and unity. Humanity may not have been called, but we came anyway. That is enough to make a difference." The night grew deeper, yet there was no fear. Instead, there was focus, planning, and quiet confidence. Every Varen learned from humans, every human contributed wisdom, and the bond between them strengthened. They would stand together against the Kryn. In the silent forests above, shadows shifted, unaware of the clever defenses waiting for them. The planet that had once seemed helpless was now alive with preparation. Rena knew the coming battle would be difficult, but the combination of human strategy and Veyran courage made victory possible. Humanity had arrived. The silent world had new guardians, and together they would face the storm that was coming. The first light of dawn spread over the forested plains and ruined city. Commander Rena stood on a ridge with her team, observing the horizon. The Kryn had arrived in force. Sleek, dark ships hovered above the forest, casting long shadows across the ground. Small units moved quickly through the trees, scanning for any sign of the Veyran. "They are ready," Lieutenant Caro said, his hand on the scanner. "They are testing defenses. Their scouts are cautious, but the main force is coming soon." Rena nodded. "Then we must act. Humans are not here for fear. We fight to protect, to create hope where there was none. Today, the Veyran learn what they are capable of. The humans and Veyran were in position. Energy shields, improvised traps, and hidden devices lay ready. Small teams of Veyran, guided by humans, took their posts in the ruins and forest edges. Each had a clear role: alarm, defense, or diversion. Every move was planned carefully, blending human strategy with Veyran knowledge of the land. The first contact came near the edge of the forest. A Kryn scouting unit entered the trees, confident and unaware. A sudden flash from a human-made device startled them. Alarms triggered, lights blinked, and energy barriers popped up unexpectedly. The Kryn hesitated, unsure of what they faced. "Now!" Rena commanded. The Veyran moved swiftly, attacking with energy slings guided by humans. The Kryn were surprised by the coordination and creativity of the defenders. Humans used mirrors to redirect sunlight into the eyes of the enemy, creating confusion. Small traps triggered controlled blasts that forced the Kryn to retreat temporarily. "This is working," Mara said, her voice steady. "They did not expect human ingenuity combined with Veyran skill. We can hold them." Rena smiled. "Remember, it is not about numbers. It is about thinking, planning, and unity. Humans and Veyran together can overcome much more than they realize." The Kryn regrouped, advancing cautiously. Rena and her team had anticipated this. They used the terrain to their advantage, drawing the Kryn into narrow paths between ruined buildings and dense forest. Portable energy barriers forced the enemy into choke points, where traps and coordinated attacks caused maximum disruption. The Veyran began to fight with confidence. They moved in teams, signaling silently, firing in unison. The humans guided them, but it was clear the Veyran were learning quickly. What had been fear turned into determination, and every Kryn advance met resistance stronger than expected. Lieutenant Caro monitored the energy levels of the devices. "Commander, they are regrouping for a larger push. They are testing the outer defenses." Rena nodded. "Then we use it against them. They think they understand the battlefield, but we control it." The main Kryn units moved into the city, expecting easy progress. But human planning had set a complex defense. Flashing lights, controlled energy bursts, and strategic Veyran attacks created confusion. The Kryn found themselves trapped in areas where their numbers gave them no advantage. Human creativity, combined with local knowledge from the Veyran, turned every advantage of the enemy into a weakness. Vara approached Rena during a brief lull. "We never thought we could fight back," it said. "You show us that courage is more than bravery. It is cleverness and unity." Rena nodded. "Courage without action is not enough. You fight because you must protect yourselves, and you do it wisely. That is what humans bring, not just strength, but strategy and hope." The battle continued through the morning. The Kryn adapted, but every human-guided move countered their strategy. Small groups of Varen carried out hit-and-run attacks, while humans coordinated larger maneuvers, using portable shields and traps to protect their allies and push the Kryn back. By midday, the Kryn realized the city was not defenseless. They retreated temporarily, regrouping for another strike. The humans used the pause to repair equipment, reorganize teams, and rest briefly. Every Varen had learned something new in the fight. Their confidence grew with each action. Rena looked over the city, her heart filled with pride. Today, we show that even without a call for help, humanity makes a difference. The Kryn expected weakness, but they found preparation, courage, and unity. The Varen are no longer alone. They now fight with intelligence and hope. As the day ended, the sun set behind the ruins. Smoke rose from small energy blasts, but the city and forest held firm. Humans and Varen worked side by side, tending to minor injuries and repairing devices. The Kryn strike had failed to break their defenses, and the bond between the two species had strengthened. Tomorrow they will try again, Rena said. But now, the Varen know they can fight, and they know humans will stand with them. That knowledge is more powerful than any weapon. The night fell quietly, but the humans did not rest fully. They monitored the Kryn positions, repaired defenses, and discussed new strategies. Every human contribution inspired the Varen to continue learning and adapting. In the stillness of the night, Vera approached Rena. "You came when no one asked. We believed we were lost. Now we know we can survive. Humanity is more than we imagined." Rena nodded. "We come because it is the right thing to do. We act when others hesitate. Today, we fought together. Tomorrow, we will be ready for whatever comes next." The silent world above had found guardians. The ruins were no longer helpless. The Varen were no longer defenseless. And humanity had proven that courage, ingenuity, and unity could stand against even the most fearsome enemy. The morning sun rose slowly over the forest and ruined city, casting long shadows across the ground. Commander Rena stood on a ridge, surveying the battlefield below. The Kryn were regrouping, preparing for another attack, but today the humans and Varen would be ready. Rena turned to her team. "We have learned from yesterday. We know their patterns, their weaknesses, and how they think. Today we use that knowledge to take control. Remember, strategy and unity are our greatest weapons." Mara nodded, adjusting a portable energy barrier. "The traps are ready, the Varen are trained, and our devices are operational. We can make them pay for underestimating us." Lieutenant Caro monitored the energy readings from above. "Commander, the Kryn fleet is larger than yesterday, but their approach is predictable. If we coordinate carefully, we can trap them where they are weakest." Rena smiled. "Then that is what we will do. Humans and Varen together can outthink any enemy." The Varen moved with confidence. They no longer hid in fear but took positions, alongside humans, communicating silently through hand signals and simple devices. Their glowing skin shone faintly under the morning sun, reflecting determination and courage. The Kryn advanced into the forest, expecting little resistance. But human planning had transformed the landscape. Narrow paths forced their units into choke points, where traps and energy barriers created confusion. Blinding lights and controlled energy pulses disoriented them, making every movement difficult. Small teams of Varen moved through the ruins, executing hit-and-run attacks guided by humans. They had learned timing, coordination, and the importance of working together. Their fear had become skill, their hesitation turned into quick decisions. Rena watched as her strategy unfolded. "Now, draw them closer," she instructed. "Lead them into the canyon. They will find themselves trapped and vulnerable." The Kryn followed, thinking they had the advantage. They did not expect the humans' clever use of terrain. When they entered the canyon, energy barriers and traps sealed. The exits. The humans and Varen attacked from multiple sides, forcing the enemy into confusion. Lieutenant Caro shouted, "Commander, they cannot escape! The canyon is fully controlled!" Rena nodded. "Then we finish this carefully. Precision, not recklessness. Protect the Varen while making them realize they cannot win easily." The Kryn fought fiercely, but the humans' planning and the Varen's newfound skill proved stronger. Makeshift barriers, well-timed energy pulses, and clever ambushes caused them to retreat further. Every advance they tried was met with resistance. Every move they made had been anticipated. Vera moved among the Varen, giving encouragement and support. "See what humans show us? We can fight. We can protect our home. We are not weak." Rena smiled. Courage without knowledge is wasted, but courage guided by strategy and unity can defeat even the strongest enemy. Today, you all fight not just for yourselves, but for your entire world. As the battle continued, the humans used their starship to create diversions. Small drones moved above the Kryn positions, projecting holograms that made it appear the defenders were larger in number. Energy pulses from the Valor targeted specific enemy positions, disabling their devices without harming life. The Kryn, now disoriented, began to retreat from the canyon. Human guidance and Varen skill turned what could have been a disaster into a decisive advantage. The once silent and helpless world now had control of its own fate. Rena gathered her team briefly. This is the turning point. The Kryn expected weakness, but they found preparation, intelligence, and courage. We do not just fight. We protect, we teach, and we adapt. That is humanity's strength, and now it is yours too. The Varen looked around with pride. Their city above ground, once ruined and abandoned, now showed signs of recovery. Temporary barriers, repaired machines, and coordinated teams demonstrated that they could defend themselves. Human presence had not only saved them, but also empowered them. By afternoon, the Kryn retreated fully to their ships. The humans and Varen monitored their movements carefully. The enemy was still a threat, but the planet was no longer defenseless. Humanity had arrived without being called, and their actions had turned the tide of battle. Rena addressed the Varen leaders. "You now understand that courage, unity, and intelligence are stronger than fear. You fought because you had no choice, but you also fought because you knew you could. Remember this moment. It is the beginning of your strength." Vara approached Rena with respect. "We owe you more than we can say. You came when we did not call, and you showed us what is possible." "Humanity is remarkable," Rena nodded. "We act because it is right. You have learned quickly, and now you will protect your world with knowledge and courage. This is only the beginning." As the sun set over the forest and city, humans and Varen worked together to repair defenses and prepare for the future. The once silent world now thrived with activity, hope, and determination. The Kryn would not give up, but now the balance had shifted. Humans and Varen had shown that even without a call for help, courage, strategy, and unity could turn the tide of any battle. Rena looked toward the horizon, her heart steady. Humanity had come, and together with the Varen, they had proven that even the quietest worlds could rise against the strongest enemies. The morning sun rose slowly over the forest and city, casting long shadows across the repaired ruins. Commander Rena stood with her team on a hill, watching the horizon. The Kryn had regrouped one last time, determined to regain control of the planet. But humans and Varen were ready. Rena turned to her team. "This is the final stand. Today we show that courage, knowledge, and unity can overcome even the strongest enemies. Humans came without being called. Today we make sure our arrival counts." The Varen moved with confidence. They no longer hid in fear, but took positions alongside humans, their glowing skin shining with determination. Every Varen knew their role, and humans guided them carefully. The combination of human strategy and Varen knowledge of the land created a strong, coordinated defense. Lieutenant Caro monitored the Kryn ships. "Commander, they are advancing quickly, but their movements are predictable. We can use this to our advantage." Rena nodded. "Then we draw them into the narrow passes. They cannot use their numbers effectively there. Precision and timing will be our strength." As the Kryn approached, humans and Varen activated all defensive devices. Energy barriers rose, traps triggered, and sensors flashed warnings. Small teams of Varen, guided by humans, attacked from hidden positions. The Kryn were caught off guard by the coordination. Every advance they made was anticipated, every strategy countered. Mara shouted from the front, "Commander, their forces are disorganized. Our plan is working." Rena smiled. "Keep calm and focused. We protect, we guide, and we fight smart. Today, the planet will survive because we act together." The battle moved into the forest, where humans had placed hidden energy pulses and portable shields. The Kryn struggled to move through the narrow paths. The Varen, using their knowledge of the terrain, launched coordinated attacks from multiple sides. Confusion spread among the Kryn ranks. Vera moved alongside a group of Varen fighters. "We thought we were helpless," it said. "Now we see that courage and guidance can make us strong. Humans have shown us a way forward." Rena nodded. "You fight because you want to protect your home. We only show you how to use your courage wisely. Today, the Kryn will learn that this planet is not defenseless." The Kryn ships above tried to interfere, sending small teams down to disrupt the defenses. But humans used drones and holographic decoys to create illusions of larger forces. Energy bursts disabled their devices without harming life. The Kryn found themselves trapped and unable to predict the humans' next move. The battle reached its peak in the canyon. Narrow walls prevented the Kryn from using their numbers effectively. Humans coordinated attacks from the ridge, while Varen teams struck from hidden positions below. Traps slowed the enemy, forcing them into precise paths where they could be neutralized. Caro reported, "Commander, they are retreating. They cannot continue against our combined forces." Rena allowed herself a small smile. "This is the moment we waited for. Humanity arrived without a call, and now we have turned fear into strength. The Varen have learned that they can defend their world, and we are proud to fight alongside them." The Kryn retreated fully, boarding their ships and leaving the planet behind. The humans and Varen stood together, breathing in the fresh air. The city and forests, once ruined and silent, now had life, energy, and hope. Vera approached Rena. "You came when no one asked. You showed us courage, strategy, and wisdom. You have changed our world. How can we ever thank you?" Rena smiled, gently. "You do not need to thank us. We act because it is right. Courage is meaningful when shared. You fought with us, learned, and protected your home. That is reward enough." The Varen leaders gathered, expressing gratitude and respect for the humans. They offered to share knowledge, technology, and resources. The humans, in turn, shared what they could to ensure the Varen could defend themselves in the future. A strong alliance was formed, built on trust, courage, and mutual respect. Rena addressed the combined group. "Remember this moment. Today, humanity came without a call. Today, you learned that hope, unity, and intelligence can overcome fear and danger. Together, you can protect your world and grow stronger. This is only the beginning of a lasting bond." The sun set behind the forest, casting golden light over the repaired city. Humans and Varen moved through the streets, repairing buildings, sharing knowledge and preparing for a new future. What had once been a silent world now thrived with life, hope, and determination. Rena stood on a hill, looking at the horizon. She knew the Kryn might return someday, but the planet was no longer helpless. The Varen had learned to fight, to think strategically, and to work with others. Humanity had shown that even when the universe did not call, they would act. They would rise to protect and guide. For the first time in many years, the world above ground felt alive. Birds and creatures moved freely. Rivers flowed, and forests glowed in the fading sunlight. The Varen children played safely among the ruins, and humans worked alongside their new allies, teaching and learning together. Rena felt a deep sense of pride. Humanity had arrived without expectation, without a call for help, and made a difference. The story of courage, ingenuity, and unity would spread across the stars, a reminder that even the quietest and most abandoned worlds could rise when humans chose to act. The planet had found new guardians, and a new chapter began. Humans and Varen stood side by side, ready for the future, confident that together they could face anything. Humanity had come, not because they were needed, but because they chose to be. And that choice had changed everything.